Recently, I asked you guys in a community post about which chapters seasons I should rank, and chapters 3 and 4 won by a landslide, so that's what we're going to be ranking today, right? Obviously, I'm not going to do them separately because there's only a couple of seasons in each chapter, so that's why they're here together. We've got a total of 8 seasons across these 2 chapters. I will not be considering the first iteration of Fortnite OG, which technically happened in chapter 4, but it's not a part of the main character storylines or anything, so it won't be on this list. The main thing I'm considering in these rankings is obviously going to be the gameplay. I think that's the most important thing out of any Fortnite season is just how good is the gameplay, but you know, other things like battle pass and stuff, I'll keep that in the back of my head. If you're going to enjoy this video, consider subscribing to the channel. We're on the push for 100,000 subscribers, and use code TYFRYZ in the Fortnite item shop when you get the chance. And yeah, let's get right into this video. In last place at number 8, in my opinion, the worst season in either chapter 3 or chapter 4, it is chapter 4 season 3 Wilds. This shouldn't be a surprise. It's at the bottom here. I've been pretty outspoken here and also on Twitter, at TYFRYZ, by the way, go follow me there, that this is a bottom feeder season. The big thing for me is that there's nothing about Wilds that I feel like makes me want to go back to that season. Like if this season was available, would make me want to go back and play it. There's just nothing that sticks out as like being great about it, right? Think like some of the top tier seasons of all time, chapter 2, season 4. Yeah, I'd want to go back and drop Stark Industries again. Or chapter 2, season 7. Yeah, I'd want to, you know, play the Mothership mini game again. And even like chapter 4 season 1, I'd love to use the Shockwave Hammer and Thunder Shotgun combo again, but then you bring your attention back to chapter 4 season 3 and there's just nothing that brings you back to play here. Everything that was added that was new for the most part was just painfully mid. Besides the Cybertron cannon, right, it's like you look at all the new things that were added: the Flapjack rifle, the MK Alpha assault rifle, the thermal DMR, the kinetic boomerang, Wild Wasp jars, like a bunch of augments that for the most part were just really underwhelming. The enhanced drum shotgun, yeah, that's good. The explosive repeater rifle, I liked. The Sharp 2 shotgun, I did not like, right? You can kind of understand where I'm coming from, where it's just like, when I talk about different Fortnite seasons, there's normally like one great thing that season did that I can talk about, but for chapter 4 season 3, that just doesn't really exist, and for me, that's why it is in last place on this video. Also, jungle biome absolutely sucks. Shout out the Mammoth pistol though. You know I wasn't going to forget about it. It is the best pistol of all time, probably the best addition to the game from chapter 4 season 3. At number 7 is going to be Chapter 3, Season 4, Paradise. Again, another season that shouldn't be a surprise that's at the bottom here. I think the majority of the community considers this to be a overall pretty weak season. Theming an entire season around Chrome just kind of fell flat on its face, in my opinion. I mean, the like headlining item of this season was Chrome Splash, which was just not really that good. I will say the Evo Chrome weapons were a great addition. Being rewarded for doing damage like that and literally being able to control the rarity of your weapon, the fact that it's in your hand if you want a better version to go out and push people, I think that was a great idea. I would love for them to revisit that idea, and in my opinion is probably the best thing about this season if you think about it. I think the chapter 3 map as a whole is just really underwhelming, and the new Chrome POIs for the most part, besides a couple, weren't even new. They just added Chrome and then called them new, right? Like Tilted Towers became Tainted Towers, although it was literally the exact same thing. And besides the Evo Chrome weapons, right, I'm just scrolling through all the new things that were added in this season. It's just so underwhelming, right? You've got the grapple glider, the dial-a-drop, things like the Howler Claws, the Mythic Suppressed SMG. I mean, right, like the Cobra DMR, besides the explosive goo gun, the porta bunkers, and the chrome weapons, I just don't see a reason why this season would stick out as being good to anybody. And again, another easy pick here for me. At number 6 is going to be Chapter 3, Season 3, okay? And I think we're like out of like the F tier seasons now, and now we're starting to get into some, okay, maybe they're decent seasons for some people, but I don't think you can outright say that these are horrible, right? Chapter 3, Season 3, for me, felt like it hit on a lot of things and then also missed on a lot of things as well. One of those things they hit on was the reality seeds. The whole reality sapling system was unbelievable. I love that system. I would love for something to be in the game now that like can carry over between matches in real time. Just a really cool idea. This season also added the Hammer Assault Rifle. I think a lot of people would generally consider to be a pretty good AR, but unfortunately, it also added the 2-shot shotgun, which is one of the worst shotguns of all time, in my opinion. You also got the introduction to the DMR class. This was the first ever season that had a DMR in it. You had some more misses, though, like with the Charge SMG and the Ripsaw launcher, and then they hit again with the Prime Shotgun, right? So you can see what I'm saying here, right? There's a lot of times where they just totally missed the mark, and a lot of times where they did some really good things. And also, the Dragon Ball collab for me was just amazing. amazing. And I look back on Chapter 3, Season 3, and I'm like, okay, it's not the best season by any stretch of the imagination, but if I had the chance to go back and, you know, use the Nimbus Cloud again and use the Prime Shotgun along with the Reality Saplings every game, like, okay, yeah, like, I would actually enjoy doing that. A lot of people think the theme of Vibin is pretty weak. I would agree with you. Again, not the best season, but certainly not the worst on this list. At number 5 is going to be Chapter 3, Season 1, okay? I think this is arguably the best season in Chapter 3. Obviously, it's not on this list, but on any given day, I could see you making the argument that this was the best season in Chapter 3, and that's for a couple of reasons, but it depends on how you look at it. I actually felt like Chapter 3, Season 1 was a significantly better launch than Chapter 2, Season 1 was, and not just the launch, but then throughout the rest of the season with the constant updates. Obviously, we got sliding in Chapter 3, Season 1. That might not sound like a big deal, but think about it, you use sliding in literally every single gunfight. We also literally got Unreal Engine 5, right? That was a big deal at the time. And we got literally a completely brand new loot pool, whereas Chapter 2, Season 1, a lot of it was mostly some of these same items that we saw in Chapter 1. No, this one for Chapter 3 was all new weapons. I can't ignore the elephant in the room. The MK7 assault rifle was absolutely broken, so strong, and for me, yeah, I loved using the MK7, but it was also really annoying to just get absolutely lasered, literally shotgunned in a second by an assault rifle. The Stinger SMG was absolutely broken, busted, so good. The Striker Pump Shotgun was decent, right? I think for the most part, though, you've got a pretty good loot pool here, and stuff like tents are really unique. I also can't ignore Spider-Man's web shooters. I mean, what great items. Again, it depends on how you look at it. Yeah, they're really fun to use, but it's also really annoying to have somebody down to 10 HP and they just constantly are able to leave over and over again because they've got 60 mobility uses. There's plenty more that this season added, right? And I think now we're kind of at that like B- tier of seasons where these are totally suitable seasons. You'll hear me reference it throughout this video, and you already have that, like, yeah, I would like to go back to Chapter 3 and use that pre-nerf MK7 with web shooters again, but it's not one of those seasons that like I would be dying for them to remaster. You know what I'm saying? We are now at the halfway point on this list, guys. That number 4 is Chapter 4, Season 4. No, that was not intentional, by the way, to have all those 4s there. I just realized that. You know what? I feel like Chapter 4, Season 4 honestly just kind of goes forgotten about, right? I think that's because Chapter 4, Season 3 had pushed a lot of players away, and then after Chapter 4, Season 4 was Chapter 4, Season OG. Obviously, it's not going to be on this list. And the first 2 seasons of Chapter 4 were unbelievable, right? So it's like this season, I feel like just doesn't really have an identity. But come on, right? I can't deny you've got some unbelievable weaponry that was added in this season, right? The twin mag assault rifle, the rocket ram. I mean, even if you want to consider the mythic weapons that they brought back, right? This was a big deal back then. This was the first time that we had really seen mythics be brought back across different seasons. And there's so many that honestly, I wouldn't even be able to talk about all of them, right? The Foundation's MK7, Midas' drum gun, its charged shotgun. It just, the list goes on, honestly. The ability to steal those mythics was really, really fun and something I actually miss about Chapter 4, Season 4 a ton. This season was much needed, right? This season needed to happen after Chapter 4, Season 3. You needed a big bounce back, and if you watch any of those videos on launch or like the first week of launch by creators in Chapter 4, Season 4, a lot of them are like, this is the most fun I've had playing Fortnite in a long time, and that's true. I think this is one of the most fun Fortnite seasons we've ever had, and honestly, that is why it's higher than Chapter 3, Season 1, right? I feel like I had more fun playing Chapter 4, Season 4 than I did in Chapter 3, Season 1, and that's really what it comes down to for me. Also, let me just say something. Chapter 4, Season 4's map absolutely clears the Chapter 3, Season 1 map. Moving on to number 3 is going to be Chapter 3, Season 2. And let's be honest, this season was okay, but there's one main reason why it is this high up on the list. And for me, that is the introduction of Zero Build. This is a game-changing, literally changing the course of how Fortnite will be for its entire history of a change. That's how big of a deal this was. Not only was it Zero Build, but it was also mantling, tack sprinting as well. Again, you use these in literally every single Fortnite game. I'm sure you go watch any Chapter 1 or Chapter 2 gameplay, and you're like, oh, dude, like, why is he not mantling? Whatever. It didn't exist back then, but now it's just a core part of the game. And yeah, obviously, I'm not really focusing on the additional, weaponry added this season. That's just because Zero Build is such a big deal. I cannot ignore it. If you watch, I would say probably 95% of, like, your favorite, big streamers, they are all playing Zero Build, right? And that's just what people enjoy playing, right? It's almost like Zero Build is more popular than Builds Mode, right? And Builds Mode is what made Fortnite popular and blew it up in the first place. So, just a wild season. Obviously, you also got good weapons. weaponry, like the Ranger shotgun that was added here. Railgun recon scanner was unvaulted, but obviously that live event at the end too was just fantastic. But Chapter 3 Season 2 for me is really this high up because of the addition of Zero Build. It was insane. And my number 2 spot is going to be Chapter 4 Season 1. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, this should not be a surprise this season is this high up on the list. This is one of my favorite Fortnite seasons of all time. What an unbelievable Fortnite season this was. I am just so nostalgic for this season already, and just what a launch of a chapter. If anybody hasn't told you today, Chapter 4 graphics are absolutely peak Fortnite graphics. We got the addition of reality augments, a brand new loophole of weapons like the Thunder Shotgun, the Tactical Pistol, the Red Eye Assault Rifle, the Twin Mag SMG, of course the Shockwave Hammer, right? Like the meta just felt so good. I would do anything to be running around again with a Red Eye, Thunder Shotgun, Twin Mag SMG, Shockwave Hammer. Like, what a loadout that was. Got one of the greatest anime collabs that brought with it the Deku Smash and the All Might supply drop. Shout out Faulty Splits as well for Chapter 4 Season 1. That was literally my drop for the entire season. We also saw the Dragon Ball collab items get unvaulted for this season. The introduction of all the heisted exotics, right? It's just the list goes on and on. There is so many reasons to want to go back and play Chapter 4 Season 1. And for all the reasons I just named, it is at the number 2 spot, but somehow it's not at number 1. I have a feeling you guys will know what I'm going to put at this spot. For me, the best season in both Chapters 3 and 4, it is Chapter 4 Season 2, and honestly, it's not really close for me. This is a top 5 Fortnite season of all time. Maybe I think you could sneak it inside the top 3. Mega City is one of the best locations this game has ever seen. We got new mechanics like Loot Island, which are still in the game today. Unfortunately, we actually got Sniper Glare that was added in Chapter 4 Season 2. What a terrible change to snipers. Shout out 12 Storm Stages that was also added in this season. Combat caches with legendary slurp juices. Like, come on. As much as I want to go back to having a loadout with the Thunder Shotgun, the Twin Mag, and the Shockwave Hammer, I want to do the same with the Kinetic Blade, the good Kinetic Blade, the Havoc Pump Shotgun, and legendary slurp juices. Maybe throw in the Overclock Pulse Rifle if you want to, one of the strongest, maybe the strongest mythic item ever. ODM gear is one of the community's most favorite mobility items of all time. Of course, that whole collaboration happened in Chapter 4 Season 2. Just like for me, I don't really have a reason why you wouldn't want to go back and play Chapter 4 Season 2. I completely forgot about the entire Star Wars collaboration. That was a big deal back then with like the force pull, push, throw, and jump abilities with the DC-15. You had ranked play, these Spider-Verse web shooters, right? It's literally, the list goes on and on. How can you not like Chapter 4 Season 2? For me, it is the best season by far in both of these chapters. Honestly, I don't think there's going to be a ton of argument on this pick. Alright guys, I hope you went on to enjoy this video. Make sure that you are subscribed with notifications on, because soon I'm going to post a community poll asking you guys which chapter season you want to see me rank next, and make sure you go vote in that because your vote could be the decider on what my next video is. Please be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on this video and my rankings, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. As always, peace.